Good day, I'm Jen with the St. Croix Environmental Association. We're here today at the Barren Spot Bat Tower in St. Croix to talk about tips for helping bats recover from hurricanes. You'll learn more about bats. You'll actually get to see some bats in the Barren Spot Bat Tower. You'll learn how hurricanes affect bats and what you can do to help them. You have several different types of bats in the Virgin Islands, and how they do after the hurricane really depends on what their preferred food source is. So the insect eaters do really well because we have lots of mosquitoes and lots of insects after hurricanes. The fruit-eating bats, on the other hand, do not do well because there's nothing to eat. All the fruits and the flowers have blown down. We estimate that we lost about 20% of our fruit-eating bats throughout the Virgin Islands after Hurricanes Irma and Maria in 2017. Why do we care about bats? Well, bats are the only native mammals in the Virgin Islands. Everything else, goats, deer, mongoose, were all brought by humans. So bats are a key part of our native ecosystem. They also provide a lot of great benefits for humans. Bats are key pollinators for some of our favorite fruits like mangoes and bananas. And they also plant our forests, especially after disturbances like hurricanes. They spread the seeds around and help our forests recover. Most people's favorite part about bats is that they're also big insect eaters. They eat tons and tons of mosquitoes. In fact, a single little insect-eating bat can eat up to 2,000 mosquitoes each night. They also eat a lot of the bugs that feed on our crops and on our farms, so they protect our health and our food. What can you do to help bats after hurricanes? One of my favorite things that is also entertaining for us is to hang fruit from a branch. Bananas work really well. You just need to make sure that it's hanging so that the bat can fly right up to it. Before the storm, to help bats, you really want to reduce your pesticide use and plant lots of native trees. Bats really like night blooming flowers and fruit trees especially. You're probably going to have a lot of trees down in your yard after the storm. And I know it's tempting to want to clear everything out, but it's great if you can leave a couple of branches for the bats to roost in so that they don't have to travel too far to eat that fruit that you planted. If you have bats in your roof or anywhere on your property, don't kill them. It's inhumane and it's against the law in the Virgin Islands. There are humane ways to remove bats. You can do some research online, or you can call your local Fish and Wildlife, or if you're on St. Croix, get in touch with St. Croix Environmental Association and we can give you some tips. The bats here at the Barren Spot Bat Tower in St. Croix are cave bats, known scientifically as Brachyphylla cavernarum. This species is found through much of the Caribbean, from Cuba to Barbados. They're fruit-eating bats that serve as key pollinators for native trees and fruit trees. Their natural roosts are primarily in caves, but they can also be found in man-made structures, such as this old well tower, which is protected by the St. Croix Environmental Association.